G'day guys, it's Jeff Ware here from BikeReview.com.au, and I've been testing the 2020 Ducati Panigale V4 S. Lots of changes to the new model. The last one I rode was the 2018 model, V4 S. So it's been great to ride them back to back. It is late in the year, but obviously with COVID and we're all the way down here in Australia, things are happening a bit later. But we did run a whole bunch of press, which you can see here on the model when it debuted earlier in the year. Also, if you click on the link above, you can read all the technical details and specs on this bike. There's just so much here, there's no way we could go through it all in a video. It's got completely updated electronics, next generation. So it's got the amazing new traction control that you pretty much can't even feel. It's got some changes to the power characteristics and a lot of chassis changes. So it's basically got the R version front subframe, which has a lot more flex built into it. It's softer on the springs. It's just made it a lot more compliant, and my first thoughts of this bike when I pushed it hard through the twisties and on some bumpy roads were that this is the first Panigale I've ridden that has the feel and feedback of the old trellis frame superbike Ducatis. That sharpiness and edginess that you couldn't take away even with softer suspension is gone now, so they're a lot more compliant and there's a lot of feel and feedback there. Back in the day of rapid bikes, we used to do the sports bike and superbike shootouts every year, and the Panigale would always be right at the back of the pack on the road with everybody's votes coming in last, and it'd always be one of the front bikes on the track though, especially for the faster riders. Now I'd say if we did a shootout, this would probably be up the front, both road and track. Although I would have to ride it hard on a racetrack with more grip than these Pirelli SB tyres have. So if I had SC1s or slicks on it, I don't know how it would go with the extra grip, but for me it'll be more feel, and I like more feel. And the suspension, you know, you never know, it might be up for it. The previous model V4 S, when I really started pushing it hard on the track, it started to get a bit too soft, even on the hardest settings across the board. But look, we don't ride on the track all the time. In fact, I'm not even able to track test this one because there's been some changes over here to the situation. So I'm only road testing it, and I was dreading it at first, but after doing a 300-kilometer loop on it yesterday, on some of the bumpiest, fastest country roads I can find that I generally test dual sport bikes on and touring bikes, as well as some smooth roads that are great for sports bikes, and I can just flick through the ride modes, street, sport and race, and honestly, this was amazing. It was one of the most compliant motorcycles I've ever ridden on that fast bumpy road, which is around 40 kilometers long, and I mean, it's bad. It's the kind of road you go on a multi-strata or something and you still get your kidneys shaken out, and on this, it was just planted on the road. That electronic steering damper is fantastic, and there's still suspension support there when you want to brake hard, as long as you do it a bit gently on street mode. And when you flick to sport, you get that extra front support at both ends, and you can push it on. The overall sport mode is perfect for the road for me anyway. and I'd love to explore race a bit more. It just felt edgier and faster, a lot stiffer, but without any track testing, there's no point in even commenting on that. As for the winglets, they draw lots of comments.
I think the winglet nearly got me in the head.
You know, I'd take them off myself, but everybody I've spoken to say, no, leave them, I like them. So I'm probably the only one I've found so far that doesn't like them. But they are good on the road because there's some nice cool air comes up across you, which brings me to the next point. It's a very, very, very hot motorcycle to ride in full leathers. If you drop below 40 kilometers an hour, 30 k's an hour, and you're riding in traffic or flowing urban areas, it's you have to hop off eventually. You get very, very hot under here, under your right leg from the exhaust. And when you're at idle, the hot air coming up both sides, it's like nothing I've experienced on previous Ducatis, and they were bad. When you're moving, you don't notice it at all. But look, that's the downside of a purebred sports bike. I mean, we're on this to go fast and have fun in the corners, not to sit in traffic. If you're going to ride around in traffic, buy a different model, a Monster or a Scrambler or something like that. Ergonomics are fantastic. Wide bars, it's wider around the front, and the taller screen makes it brilliant. You don't have to put a bigger screen on this now. Very comfortable. I'm 187 centimeters tall. My knees, my arms, I feel natural, comfortable on the bike. I spent 6 hours on it on that loop, and no problems at all. I got home, I feel fresh as anything. So I have to say it's a really good, easy bike. One thing is you cannot get the side stand down with your foot. You have to reach down with your arm. So if you have shorter arms, that's going to be a major issue. The mirrors, of course, it's a Ducati Panigale. They don't work. Only when you're not moving, you can touch them and they stop shaking. But once you're on the move, you just see blurry lights and shiny bits behind you. That's a bit of a worry, but you just got to do head checks constantly. The up and down quick shifter is absolutely seamless. Even at really low speed, it pops down and up through the gears beautifully. I'm so happy with it. It's probably the best quick shifter I've ever used on any production motorcycle, especially at low speed. They're generally terrible at low speed. This one's amazing. Clutch action is quite bad. It's very grabby, graunchy, hard to do a smooth take up. First gear is extremely tall, and to get it going in first gear, it is a lot of work, but again, it's a race bike. The dash is really easy to navigate. The controls are brilliant. The buttons are a standard Ducati and they're super easy to use. Running through the modes, seeing all the information you need to see on the dash is very easy. I got about 140 kilometers out of each tank before the fuel light came on, and that's with pretty hard riding mixed with some transport sections. Now the brakes, the rear brakes, forget them. They pretty much don't work, which is a shame because I'm a heavy rear brake user. ABS can be disengaged in race mode. The front brakes, absolutely fantastic. 1 or 2 fingers, intimate feel, great modulation at the lever. Just faultless brakes. I can't say anything bad about them over some of the wet patches because I've ridden this in the rain, the dry, every condition, and the feel at that lever is absolutely beautiful. Better in sport mode than street mode when you have that front dive, but brakes are a 10 out of 10, absolutely. Now the power is just mental. When you think it's going to run out of power, it keeps on going, which I said with the last one, way over 200 horsepower. Is it the quickest super bike out of them all? I think it is. I mean, the last one I rode in anger was the SRR Beamer in Estoril. We were getting 315 or something. It was de-restricted up top, but it didn't feel as explosively fast as this up there. So, and then that with the grunt through the middle, I mean, holy cow. but it is super friendly. So if you're not 100% experienced and you're not going to use every inch of power on this bike, you'll still have fun, you know, using that power curve, which is very usable and nice. Fit and finish is incredible. When I picked it up, I thought they must have had a new paint technique. The red seems deeper to me, but I'm assured it's not. Everything fits great. I don't like the plastic bits over some parts. I mean, for 40 grand plus, I would expect carbon fiber, which is a shame because you'd have to add all that stuff yourself. But overall, I mean, unbelievable quality. Is it worth 40 grand? Well, hey, it's a Ducati. I don't know, people ask me that and I say, well, when I started testing in 2001, one of my first bikes I tested in my career was for Two Wheels magazine when I started there, and it was a 2001 Ducati 996R, from memory, 56,000 bucks. So I mean, that was 20 years ago. Anyway, thanks for watching. For the full review, check out BikeReview.com.au. Click on this link here for more information on the Panigale V4 S and all the technical stuff. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Have a fabulous day. Thanks for watching. Cheers.